The cafeteria went dead silent. Everyone's laughter froze mid-air, spoons hung halfway to mouths, and all eyes locked on the red plastic cup sliding down Miss Carter's face. Thick strawberry milkshake dripping from her hair, her white blouse drenched in pink. At the center of it all stood Kyle, the school's self-proclaimed king of pranks. He grinned smugly, expecting the usual reaction. Shock, a gasp, maybe a burst of laughter from his buddies in the back. What he didn't expect was silence. And what came next, no one would ever forget. Miss Carter didn't yell. She didn't cry. She didn't even flinch. She just slowly wiped the milkshake from her eyes, looked Kyle dead in the face, and said in a calm, low voice, "Are you finished?" Her tone wasn't angry. It wasn't mocking. It was something else, something controlled, deliberate, dangerous. The silence grew heavier. Even the air seemed to tighten around her. Kyle's grin faltered just a little, but he tried to play it off. "Yeah," he said, trying to sound cocky. "Guess you're not as tough as the rumors said." Miss Carter looked at him for another long second, then picked up her bag and said, "Classroom." Now, that was the moment the entire school realized there was something different about Miss Carter. She was new, had only been teaching history at Brookwood High for a few months. The students didn't know much about her background, other than vague whispers that she'd done something in the military. But no one really believed it. She was too calm, too gentle, the kind of teacher who smiled at everyone, who stayed late helping struggling students, who brought in donuts on Fridays. No one could have guessed that beneath that calm demeanor was a retired Navy SEAL, one of the few women to complete the program. In her classroom, Kyle slouched in a chair, trying to look disinterested. He was used to detention, used to teachers yelling at him, giving him lectures about respect and consequences. But Miss Carter didn't do any of that. Instead, she pulled up a chair and sat across from him. "Why?" she asked quietly. He frowned. "Why what? Why the milkshake? Why the jokes? Why spend so much energy trying to tear other people down?" He scoffed. "Because it's funny." Her eyes didn't move from his. "You think it's funny to humiliate people? To make them feel small?" He rolled his eyes. "You wouldn't get it." "Try me," she said. There was something in her tone, not pity, not anger, that made him hesitate. For the first time in a long time, Kyle didn't have a comeback. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. Miss Carter didn't report him to the principal. She didn't make a scene, but she started giving him extra responsibilities, helping set up equipment for class projects, organizing chairs after school, assisting with group activities. At first, he hated it. He complained, dragged his feet, made sarcastic comments. But every time, she responded the same way, calm, steady, unshaken. One day, after everyone else had left, she told him the truth. "When I was your age," she said, "I had a temper. I thought anger made me strong. But then I joined the Navy, and I learned that real strength isn't about control over others. It's about control over yourself." Kyle laughed under his breath. "Yeah, right. Easy for you to say." She looked him straight in the eye. "You think it's easy? You think it's easy to crawl through mud for miles, to push your body to its limit, to see things that would break most people and still stay human? No, Kyle, it's not easy, but it's worth it." He stared at her, unsure how to respond. Then she said something that hit him harder than anything ever had. "Bullies aren't strong, Kyle. They're scared. I used to be scared too." Weeks turned into months. Slowly, Kyle began to change. He stopped mocking the quiet kid. He started showing up early to help set up class materials. He even apologized, awkwardly, to the cafeteria worker he'd once pranked. People noticed. Some laughed, thinking he was pretending. But Miss Carter noticed too, and she never once brought up the milkshake incident again. Then one day, near the end of the semester, the school hosted a Veterans Day assembly. The principal invited Miss Carter to speak. None of the students knew what to expect. Maybe a short speech about history or patriotism. But when the lights dimmed and the slideshow began, the entire gym gasped. There, on the screen, were photos of Miss Carter, in uniform, standing beside her. SEAL team, covered in mud, leading rescue operations, jumping from helicopters. Real, raw images of courage. Kyle's jaw dropped. He looked around as whispers rippled through the students. She was a SEAL? No way. Dude, that's insane. When she stepped up to the microphone, her voice was steady. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want you to see me as a soldier. I wanted you to see me as a teacher, someone who believes in who you can become. Her eyes scanned the crowd and landed briefly on Kyle. Every one of you has a fight inside you. Some of you are fighting others when really you're just fighting yourselves, but you can change that. You can choose courage over cruelty, strength over fear. After the assembly, Kyle waited outside her classroom. When she came out, he held out a strawberry milkshake. I thought you might actually like one this time, he said, smiling nervously. She chuckled. You remembered the flavor. Yeah, he said quietly, and I'm sorry for everything. She took the milkshake, nodded, and said, apology accepted. Now, make sure you use that strength of yours for something good. He did. By the time graduation came around, Kyle wasn't the class clown anymore. He joined the school's mentoring program, helping younger students who were struggling, the same way Ms. Carter had helped him. Years later, when he stood on a stage receiving his diploma from the police academy, he spotted her in the crowd, still calm, still smiling. He saluted her, and she saluted back. Moral strength isn't about how loud you are or how much control you have over others. Real strength comes from compassion, discipline, and the courage to change, no matter who you used to be.